the small girl from the stars who exposed the Illuminati's lie. The night was quiet in the desert town of Red Hollow. The wind moved slowly across the sand, and the small houses slept under a sky full of stars. Most people were already inside, resting after a long day. Only a few lights were still on. One of them belonged to a young man named Eli. Eli lived alone in a small home near the edge of town. He worked as a repair worker during the day and fixed old machines at night. He liked quiet places. He liked looking at the stars. To him, the sky felt honest. It did not lie. It only watched. That night, Eli was working on a broken radio when the sound came. At first it felt like thunder, but the sky was clear. Then the ground shook. A deep roar passed over the town, followed by a bright light that cut through the darkness. The light fell fast, like a burning star, and crashed far beyond the last houses. Windows rattled. Dogs barked. People woke up in fear. Eli dropped his tools and ran outside. The sky was still glowing where the object had fallen. Smoke rose into the air, thick and dark. Eli did not think. He only grabbed his jacket and drove toward the crash site. Others were doing the same, but Eli took an old side road that few people used. He reached the place first. The sand was burned black. Metal pieces were spread across the ground. At the center was a broken shell, half buried, still warm. It was not like any plane or rocket Eli had ever seen. The metal was smooth, without marks or words. It looked grown, not built. Then he heard a sound. It was a soft cough. Eli moved closer, his heart beating fast. Inside the broken shell, he saw a small figure. A girl. She looked no older than 10 years old. Her clothes were strange, made of silver fabric that did not burn. Her skin was pale and her hair was dark and short. Her eyes opened. They were calm. She looked at Eli and spoke. "You came quickly," she said. Eli froze.
"Who are you?" he asked. "My name is Luma," the girl said.
"Do not be afraid." Before Eli could say anything else, lights appeared in the distance. Engines, voices. The military was coming. Luma turned her head slightly. "They cannot take me," she said.
"Not yet." Eli did not know why, but he believed her. "Can you walk?" he asked.
Luma nodded. She stepped out of the wreckage without pain, without fear. Her feet touched the sand like she belonged there. Eli helped her into his truck, just as the first vehicles arrived. He drove away fast, his hand shaking. Behind them, soldiers surrounded the crash site. Orders were shouted. The area was locked down within minutes. But Luma was already gone. Eli drove for a long time. He did not ask questions. Luma watched the road quietly. Finally, they reached an old storage building that Eli used to keep tools. It was hidden and safe. Inside, Eli turned on a light.
"You should not be here," he said.
"They will search the whole area." "They will search," Luma said, "but they will not find us yet." Eli stared at her.
"You talk like you know everything." "I know enough," she replied.
Eli sat down slowly. "What are you?" Luma looked at him. "I am not from your world." "But I am not your enemy." Eli laughed softly, more from fear than humor. "That is what every story says." Luma walked to the window and looked at the stars. "Your world has been watched for a very long time," she said. "You were taught lies so you would never look up together." Eli felt cold. "Who taught us lies?" Luma turned back to him. "Those you call the Illuminati." Eli shook his head. "That is just a story, a myth. They want you to believe that," Luma said. "They hide truth behind symbols and fear." She raised her hand. The old radio on the table turned on by itself. Voices played, speaking languages Eli did not know. Then the voices changed into clear English. "These are signals buried in your systems," Luma said. "Old messages erased from history." Eli stood up. "How do you know all this?" "Because I was sent to remember," she replied. Outside, a helicopter passed overhead. Luma's eyes darkened. They are closer than they think. At that moment, far away in a black underground room, a woman watched a screen. Her name was Hale. She wore a dark suit and showed no emotion. The object was not empty, she said.
Find the girl. Yes, Director, a voice replied. Hale folded her hands.
She must not speak, not to anyone. Back in the storage building, Eli felt something change. The quiet was heavy. "Why me?" he asked. Luma looked at him. "Because you still look at the stars and ask questions?" Eli swallowed. "What happens now?" Luma answered softly. Now the lie begins to break. In the sky above Earth something moved. Not fast, not loud, just watching. And the night was no longer quiet. Eli stayed awake long into the night. The desert wind whispered against the walls of the storage building, but inside, a new world had begun. Luma sat on the floor, her small legs crossed, and her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. The silence was heavy, but Eli could feel it was not empty. It was full of knowledge he could not yet touch. "Tell me," Eli said, finally breaking the quiet.
Why are you here? Why did you come to Earth? Luma looked at him calmly.
Earth was not ready before. Humans were not ready now. The time has come. I was sent to remind your people of what was hidden. Eli frowned. Hidden? What do you mean? She rose slowly, walking to a metal shelf and taking a small box. When she opened it, bright lights flickered inside, projecting tiny holographic maps above the floor. The map showed constellations, Earth's surface, and strange symbols. Eli's mouth went dry. He had never seen anything like this. They watch you from the stars, Luma said. They are not all enemies, but some want to keep you small, to keep you afraid.
Eli leaned closer.
Who?
The ones your history calls the Illuminati, Luma said. They control governments, money, technology, even belief. But they hide in plain sight. They make people follow lies without knowing it. Eli laughed nervously. This is crazy. How can a child know all this?
I am not a child,
Luma said softly. I am small in your eyes, but I am old in ways you cannot imagine. I remember what humans forget. Eli ran his hand through his hair. Okay, then, what do we do? First, you must believe that truth is real. Then you must act, Luma said. If they find me, they will erase everything I carry. We must be careful. The wind outside grew stronger, rattling the metal roof. Luma stepped to the window, her face pale against the moonlight.
They are coming.
Soon. Eli's heart beat faster. Who is coming? They are hunters, she said. Humans trained to control humans. They have weapons and machines that can track my mind. We cannot let them find us. Eli nodded, but fear crawled along his spine. He had always lived a quiet life, repairing machines, avoiding trouble. Now, the world had changed. The girl from the stars was sitting in his building, and the people who had controlled Earth for centuries wanted her dead. We need allies, Luma said suddenly. You cannot do this alone. Eli looked at her. Allies?
Who?
Everyone is asleep. Everyone is afraid.
You are not alone, she said, her voice gentle but firm.
There are others who watch the stars, those who wait for the truth. I will show you. The next morning, Eli and Luma left the storage building before sunrise. They moved quietly, avoiding main roads. Their destination was a small city several hours away, where Luma said they would find the first of the Watchers. The desert sun was harsh, but Eli did not complain. He focused on the small hand holding his. Luma's grip was light, but it carried a weight he could not explain. She seemed older than her size suggested, like someone who had seen too much and yet remained calm. By mid-afternoon, they arrived at an abandoned warehouse on the edge of the city. Eli's hand shook as he pushed open the heavy metal door. Inside, a young man waited. He was tall and thin, with glasses that reflected the weak sunlight. Luma spoke his name softly, Noah. Noah's eyes widened, and he smiled faintly. I knew someone would come, he said. I did not think it would be you, Eli blinked. What do you mean? Noah stepped closer, examining Luma with awe. It has been a long time since one of your kind arrived. You carry the signal. You carry the truth. Luma nodded. We have no time. The Illuminati has sent hunters. We must move. Noah led them into a hidden room at the back of the warehouse. Old computers hummed. Screens showed star maps, codes, and strange symbols Ellie could barely understand. This is the first signal tower, Noah explained. It listens. It records. It remembers.
Luma moved to the largest console and touched the screen.
Instantly, data flowed like liquid light, forming images of cities, stars, and people Eli had never seen. They erased the history, she said quietly. But it is here, waiting for humans to find. Eli felt dizzy. The world he had known, his small town, his quiet life, suddenly seemed like a lie. Everything was false except this moment and this girl who knew too much. What is all this? He asked. This is proof, Luma said. Proof that humans were never weak. Proof that you were always meant for the stars. The Illuminati tried to stop you, to hide your power. But the truth cannot be hidden forever. Noah looked at Eli. Many will not believe you.
Many will fight you. But if you fail, nothing changes.
If you succeed, everything changes. Eli swallowed hard. I don't know if I can do this. You can, Luma said. You already are. For hours they worked together, studying the old systems, learning how to use the signals. Eli found himself amazed at the knowledge Luma carried. She seemed to see patterns in everything, threads connecting stars to Earth, humans to machines, lies to truth. She spoke of ancient alliances, lost technologies, and warnings buried in old codes. Suddenly a loud crash shook the building. Eli jumped. Noah's face turned pale. They found us, he said. Hunters. The sound of footsteps echoed in the empty warehouse. Heavy boots. The click of guns. Eli's heart raced. We need to hide, he whispered. Luma shook her head. No. We must act. They cannot capture me alive. Ellie felt panic rising. Act? Against them? They have weapons. They have always feared humans, Luma said. And they should. Humans are stronger than they believe. I will show them. The hunters broke through a side door, lights flashing. They wore black uniforms and masks, moving with precision. Eli froze, but Luma stepped forward calmly. She raised her hand, and a strange light pulsed from her palm. The hunters stumbled as if the air itself had struck them. The light was soft but impossible to resist. Machines sparked, guns fell from hands, and the soldiers were thrown back. Eli could not understand it. The girl was small, but she was stronger than any army. What did you do? He whispered. They underestimate me, she said. They underestimate humans too, you will see. The hunters retreated, leaving the building silent again. Noah wiped sweat from his forehead. That was too close, he said. They will not stop. Ever. We will not hide forever, Luma said. The world will see the truth soon. But first we must move. There is one more place. One more person who waits. Then we can begin.
Eli nodded.
Fear was still there, but it was mixed with a strange excitement. For the first time in his life, he felt part of something larger, something that mattered. The small girl from the stars had chosen him, and now he could not turn back. As night fell over the city, the three of them moved silently. The streets were empty, but Eli knew they were being watched. He glanced at Luma, who walked confidently, her eyes shining under the moonlight. She was small, but she carried the weight of stars and the hope of a human race that had forgotten its strength. And in the dark sky above, the stars seemed to burn brighter, as if they were waiting for humans to finally remember. The city lights disappeared behind them as Eli, Luma, and Noah drove along the quiet highways. The desert was endless now, flat and empty, stretching toward the mountains far ahead. Eli's mind raced. He tried to understand what he had seen, what he had heard, and what Luma had shown him. But every time he tried, he felt like the truth was slipping through his fingers. "You have never seen Earth this way before," Luma said softly, breaking the silence. "You think it is ordinary, but it is not. Humans have been stronger than they know, cleverer than they are allowed to remember." Ellie shook his head. "I don't even know what to believe anymore. How can a small girl know all this?" "I am not small in the ways that matter," Luma replied. Her eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. "I see what others cannot see. I remember what has been hidden." Noah glanced at Eli. "She speaks the truth. There are things under the ground, things buried in code, things in the sky that humans forgot. The signals Luma carries are alive. They remember humans, even when humans forget themselves." Eli wanted to say more, but a sudden sound made him freeze. A humming, low and strange, filled the night. It was not from a car or a machine. It was deep, resonating in his chest, vibrating through the truck's frame. The desert around them seemed to respond, the sand trembling under the tires. Luma raised her hand. "It is awake."
Awake.
"What is awake?" Eli asked, his voice trembling. "The tower," she said. "Not the one we left behind. Another. One that has been hidden for centuries. It listens. It watches. And now it has noticed us." Noah's face went pale. "If the tower is awake, we have very little time. The Illuminati will know soon. They will come with everything they have." Luma did not move. Her eyes stared forward, unblinking. "Then we will move faster." They reached the base of a mountain range as dawn approached. The road ended in rough terrain, rocks and sand blocking most paths. Eli parked, and the three climbed toward a hidden cave Luma had shown on the star maps. Inside, the cave was not ordinary. The walls were smooth, carved with symbols and glowing faintly as if alive. Eli felt a shiver run down his spine. "This is one of the ancient human sites," Luma said. "It is hidden from the world, but it remembers. It listens for those who are ready." Noah pointed to a small console built into the stone wall. Strange, shifting symbols flickered across its surface. "This is a recorder," he said. "It has data from centuries ago, hidden from the world. It is one of the oldest signal towers." Luma stepped forward, touching the symbols with her fingers. Light spread from her hand, illuminating the entire cave. Eli watched, amazed, as maps, text, and star charts appeared in the air, floating like magic. The cave hummed with energy, alive and aware. "They erased history," Luma said. "They did not want humans to know the truth. But it is here. Everything they tried to hide is here."
Eli moved closer, trying to understand. Why?
Why would they hide this?
Humans.
What could they do that scares them? "Because humans were never weak," Luma said. "You were always clever, creative, strong. You built, you imagined, you dreamed. Long ago, other worlds noticed. They feared humans would rise, and so they made rules to keep you small. The Illuminati are just a part of that plan." Noah nodded, "And now humans are waking. The signal is spreading. Luma carries it, and it will not be silenced." The three worked for hours. Learning from the cave's records, Eli discovered maps of old civilizations, cities that had vanished, and strange machines humans had forgotten. There were warnings about hidden wars, messages left by people who had tried to teach the truth. Eli could barely process it all. Every story he had learned in school was false. Every history book had lied. Suddenly a loud vibration shook the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. The symbols on the walls flickered violently. Luma raised her hand. "They are here." Eli looked at her, fear gripping him. "Who?" "The hunters," she said. "They never sleep. They will try to take me again." Noah rushed to a panel and activated a screen. Outside the cave, black helicopters hovered silently, and armored vehicles moved along the rocks. The Illuminati had found them. Eli's stomach dropped. He had thought they were hidden, safe. He was wrong.
We need to act now, Luma said.
We cannot hide. We must awaken the tower fully. Ellie followed her, though his legs felt heavy. Luma moved like she had done this many times, touching the symbols, speaking words in a language Eli could not understand. The cave responded. Energy flowed through the air, pulsing like a heartbeat. Machines in the cave whirred to life, lights flickering in patterns Eli had never seen.
Outside, the hunters began to approach. Their boots kicked up sand as they moved towards the cave entrance.
Guns were raised. Helicopters hovered closer. But inside, Eli could feel the energy building. Luma was no longer just a small girl. She was a conductor of power, a bridge between humans and something older, something alive. The first hunter stepped into the cave. He reached for his weapon, but the air changed. Light spread from Luma, moving like waves across the floor. The hunter fell back, unable to move, his body trembling. Eli could not understand what was happening, but he knew it was beyond human strength. Luma's power was not just her own. It came from the tower, from the hidden systems of Earth, from the stars themselves. Noah shouted over the hum.
Keep it going!
Let it flow through the tower. Eli placed his hands on the nearest console, feeling warmth and vibration spread into him. Symbols appeared on the screens, connecting the cave, the stars, and Luma's mind. He realized something he had never imagined. Humans and the stars were connected, and the lie that had kept them small was breaking. The hunter stumbled back, disoriented. Machines sparked and whined. Guns fell from hands. The helicopters wavered in the air as if the very world had turned against them. Luma's voice rang out, calm but firm. You will not take the truth. Humans remember. Humans awaken. Eli watched in awe. The small girl was teaching him, guiding him, showing him the strength humans had forgotten. Fear was still there, but it was mingled with hope. He could feel the power of his own people, the creativity and courage buried in every human being flowing into the cave. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, the hunters retreated. Outside, the desert returned to silence. Dust settled. The cave hummed softly, as if it had sighed. Luma turned to Eli and Noah. This was only the beginning, she said. The tower is awake now. The world will see the truth. But there are more places, more people who must be awakened. The Illuminati will not give up.
They will try again. Stronger. Eli nodded slowly.
He felt changed. The fear was still there, but it had a new shape. Now it was tempered by purpose, by understanding. He looked at Luma and said quietly, "What happens next?" She smiled faintly. "Next, we go to the others. Those who still remember. Those who still watch the stars. They will join us, and together, humans will finally remember who they really are." The desert sun rose behind the mountains, lighting the sky in gold. Eli felt the warmth on his face, and he realized that the world he had known, the quiet, ordinary world, was gone. In its place was a larger truth, one he could feel in his chest. Humans were not small. They were not weak, and the small girl from the stars had shown him the way. As they left the cave, Luma walked ahead, her steps light, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Noah followed closely, studying the symbols that still flickered in the air. Eli brought up the rear, carrying both fear and wonder with him. The road ahead was dangerous. The Illuminati would not stop. The Watchers of the Stars would not wait. But for the first time in his life, Ellie felt part of something greater, something alive and vast. The small girl from the stars had awakened a power in humans that no one could take away. And the stars above shone brighter, as if in approval, as if reminding humans of what they had always been, strong, clever, and unbreakable. The night sky was quiet, but not peaceful. In the distance, shadows moved across the mountains, silent but deliberate. Eli, Luma, and Noah traveled carefully along a narrow dirt path. The desert was dark, and the wind whispered like a warning. They had left the cave behind,
but the danger had only grown. "They are coming faster now," Noah said, his voice low. He glanced at the sky, where faint lights moved like distant stars. But they were not stars. "The hunters! The Illuminati will not stop until they take her." Luma walked ahead, calm as ever. "They will not take me alive," she said. "And if they try, they will see the truth too soon. That is what scares them." Eli shook his head.
"I still don't understand. Why you?"
"Why now?" "I am small in their eyes," Luma said. "But I carry what they fear most. Proof. Proof that humans were never weak. Proof that your world has been lied to. That is why they fear me." Noah slowed, pointing to the rocks ahead. "We are near the next watcher." A scientist named Dr. Irena. "She knows the signals. She has worked to protect them, to keep them hidden. If anyone can help us now, it is her." The three moved carefully, avoiding the main road. The desert night was alive with subtle sounds, the call of distant animals, the soft hum of the wind, and beneath it all the faint pulse of energy that came from Luma. Eli felt it like a vibration in his chest, a reminder that this small girl carried more than knowledge. She carried power. They reached a hidden facility buried in the side of a low hill. The entrance was camouflaged, and sensors monitored the perimeter silently. Luma walked to the main gate, and without touching it, the door slid open. Eli stared. "How did you do that?" "It listens," Luma said simply. "It knows I am coming." It remembers humans who are awake. Inside, the facility was bright and clean, filled with machines that Eli could barely understand. Screens flashed with star maps, earth maps, and strange symbols that moved like living things. Dr. Irena, a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes, appeared from the shadows.
"You brought her," Irena said, her voice firm. "I feared they would capture her before you arrived."
"We barely escaped," Noah said. "They are faster than ever," Irena nodded. "Then we must act quickly. The signals Luma carries are connected to ancient systems buried across the world. If the Illuminati capture her, they will erase everything. We have one chance to awaken the truth." Ellie looked at Luma.
"Awaken the truth?"
"How?" Luma moved to a console. She placed her small hands on the surface, and the screens came alive with symbols and maps. "We send a message," she said. "Not to beg, not to call for help. We send proof. The world must see what has been hidden." Eli could feel the air change. The energy from Luma was growing. The machines responded to her presence, to her mind. She was not just a child. She was a bridge between humans and something older, something alive. Noah spoke quickly. "The Illuminati knows we are here. They will come with everything they have. Helicopters, soldiers, drones. They will try to destroy the facility. We must act before they arrive." Suddenly, the walls of the facility vibrated. Outside, a low hum grew louder. Eli ran to a window and saw black shapes moving across the desert. Soldiers in armored vehicles and helicopters filled the sky. The Illuminati had found them. "They are here," Eli said, panic rising. Luma did not move. "Then we will not hide. The truth will not be hidden. Not by them, not by anyone." She raised her hands and the machines responded. Lights pulsed across the walls, floors, and ceiling. Screens projected images of ancient humans, lost civilizations, and hidden messages. Eli could see patterns in the stars he had never noticed before. They connected humans to the universe, to distant worlds, to possibilities that had been forgotten. The first group of soldiers entered the facility. They moved carefully, weapons raised, but the air shifted around them. Light spread from Luma, soft but unyielding. It pushed the soldiers back, making their bodies tremble. Machines sparked, and their communications jammed. Eli watched in awe and fear. "What is happening?" he whispered.
They underestimate us,
Luma said. "They always do. Humans are stronger than they know. And I am proof of what they fear." Noah moved to a console and started typing rapidly. "We can amplify her signal through the tower. If we succeed, the world will see the truth. Eli placed his hands on a nearby machine. A warmth spread through him, and suddenly he understood part of what Luma felt. Energy flowed through the facility, through the walls, through the desert, and into the sky. The soldiers staggered as if the world itself had risen against them. Outside, the helicopters wavered, engines straining against a force they could not comprehend. Drones fell from the sky. Vehicles stopped, powerless. The Illuminati's weapons, designed to control humans, failed in the presence of truth. Luma spoke softly, her voice carrying across the facility. "See, humans? See what you were always meant to be. You are not weak. You are not small. You are alive, and the stars are your heritage." Eli felt his fear transform into something else. Courage. Wonder. He realized that humans had been controlled by lies, but the lie could not last forever. The energy in the facility, in Luma, in him, was proof that humans could rise. The soldiers retreated, the helicopters backed away, and the desert fell silent once more. Dust settled, and the hum of energy softened, leaving a quiet that was different from before.
It was calm, but charged.
Alive. Irena turned to Eli and Noah. "Hey!" This was only the first step. The tower is awake. But there are more systems, more people who remember. The Illuminati will not stop. They will return stronger. Luma nodded. "We have shown the world a small piece of the truth. That is enough to start. Soon, humans will see more. But we must move before they adapt." Noah looked worried. "They will come again, faster this time. And not just soldiers. They will send minds trained to control, minds that can erase what we did tonight." Eli swallowed. He had never felt so small, yet so important. "What do we do now?" he asked. "We find the others," Luma said. "Those who still watch the stars, those who remember. And we show them the truth. The world will have a choice."
Eli nodded.
Fear was still inside him, but it was joined by determination. He realized that his quiet life had ended the moment he helped Luma escape. Now the fate of humans, of Earth, and perhaps of many worlds depended on what they did next. They left the facility before sunrise. The desert stretched endlessly ahead, but this time it did not feel empty. It was full of possibilities, full of humans who had forgotten their strength, full of stars that were waiting for them to awaken. Luma walked ahead, small but unyielding. Noah followed, studying the symbols still projected in the air. Eli brought up the rear, carrying both fear and courage with him. The Illuminati would not stop, but now humanity had seen a glimpse of what it could be. And in the quiet of the desert, Eli understood something he had never realized before. Humans had never been weak. They had only been restrained, and with the small girl from the stars, they had begun to remember. The sun rose slowly, painting the desert gold. Shadows retreated, and for the first time in centuries, the world seemed alive, awake, and ready to see itself as it truly was. The world was changing, but most people did not yet know it. Eli, Luma, and Noah moved quickly across the desert toward the next hidden signal tower. The wind carried the scent of sand and dust, but it also carried something else, a tension, a feeling that the air itself was alive with expectation. Luma walked steadily, her eyes scanning the horizon. "The Illuminati will not give up," she said. "They know we are spreading the truth." Every moment, their control weakens, but they will try harder. We must be ready. Eli shivered. "Every time I think I understand this, it gets bigger. Who are they? Why do they care about you so much?"
"They fear humans," Luma said simply.
"Not me, not the towers, not the signals. They fear what humans could become. They fear what they once were and what they forgot. That is why they control everything. History, technology, money, even belief. They cannot allow humans to rise." Noah glanced at the sky, and now they know that humans are remembering. The desert stretched endlessly ahead. The sun was low, painting the rocks gold and red. Birds rose from the cliffs, their cries sharpened the quiet. The trio reached a small ridge overlooking an old city far below. The city was mostly abandoned, its streets empty, but Luma pointed to a single building glowing faintly in the early light. "That is where we find the next watcher," she said. "She will help us awaken the next tower. We must move carefully. The Illuminati have spies everywhere." Eli nodded, though fear twisted in his stomach. Every step seemed heavier than the last. The quiet streets of the city below felt alive, as if watching them. Luma led the way, small and confident, moving through shadows and broken alleys. Inside the building they found the watcher, a woman named Mara. She was older than Luma, but strong and sharp. Her eyes glowed with intelligence, and she carried herself like someone who had seen secrets most humans could not imagine. "You brought her," Mara said, nodding toward Luma. "I feared they would capture her before we could meet."
"We barely escaped last time," Noah said.
"They are faster than ever. They are learning." Mara's gaze hardened. "Then we must act quickly. The world is ready for the truth, but we have only a short time. If they destroy the towers, everything we do is lost." Luma moved to a console, her fingers brushing the smooth surface. Symbols lit up, maps appeared, and streams of data flowed across screens. "We send proof," she said. "Not messages, not warnings, proof. The world will see what has been hidden for centuries." Eli felt the air change again. Energy spread through the room, vibrating in his chest. He could feel the connection between Luma, the tower, and the signals. It was more than machines. It was alive. He reached out, touching a console, and a warmth spread through him. The images of humans, ancient cities, and distant stars flashed before his eyes. "This is incredible," Eli whispered. "All of this was hidden?" "Yes," Luma said softly. "They erased it, but it remembers. And now, humans will see it again." Noah worked quickly, typing commands and adjusting the systems. "We can broadcast the signal. It will reach networks, screens, devices everywhere. Humans will not be able to ignore it." Outside, the wind carried the faint sound of engines. The Illuminati were coming. Helicopters, armored vehicles, drones, everything they had. They would not stop. "They are close," Eli said, fear tightening his throat. Luma did not move. "Then we will not hide. We will show them the truth." The first group of soldiers entered the building. They moved carefully, weapons ready, but the air shifted around them. Light pulsed from Luma, strong and steady. It spread across the room, flowing into the machines. The soldiers stumbled, their weapons useless. Eli could feel the energy humming through his hands and chest. What is this?" he whispered. "They underestimate humans," Luma said. "Back guard?"
They always do. Humans are stronger than they know.
"And I am proof of what they fear." Mara pressed her hand to a console. "The signal is ready. Once it goes out, the world will see everything. The lies, the hidden wars, the erased history. They will have no control." Noah glanced at Eli. "Once it starts, there is no turning back. People will panic, but some will hope. And that hope is what will awaken humans." Luma raised her hands, and the machines responded. Energy flowed through the building, through the city, and into the sky. Screens lit up worldwide, streams of images appearing on televisions, computers and devices everywhere. People across the globe saw records of ancient humans, lost civilizations, hidden wars, and symbols of power they had never known. The Illuminati's control faltered. Governments scrambled. Soldiers tried to block the broadcasts, but the signal spread too quickly. Humanity was waking, one mind at a time. Eli could feel the change in the air. The fear was still there, but it was joined by wonder, curiosity, and courage. Humans were remembering themselves, their creativity and their strength. Outside, helicopters wavered, engines straining against the energy. Soldiers staggered. Vehicles stopped as if the desert itself had risen against them. The Illuminati's weapons failed, powerless in the face of truth. Luma spoke softly, her voice carrying through the facility. See, humans, see what you were always meant to be. You are not weak. You are not small. You are alive, and the stars are your heritage. Eli felt courage rise inside him. Fear was still there, but it had a new form. Determination. Hope. The energy in the room, the signals from the towers, and Luma's presence showed him that humans could rise if they remembered themselves. Mara nodded. The towers are awake now. The world has seen a piece of the truth.
But the Illuminati will come again, stronger.
They will try to take Luma. We must move before they adapt. Luma looked at Eli. We must find the next locations, the Watchers who still remember. The truth must spread to every corner of the world. Only then will humans be free. Eli swallowed, his hands shaking.
And if they try to stop us,
They will, Luma said simply, but they underestimate humans. And that is their greatest mistake. They left the building before sunrise. The city below seemed quiet, but it was alive with the hum of awakening minds. People across the world had seen the signal. Some panicked, some were afraid, but others, for the first time in centuries, felt hope. Eli walked behind Luma, carrying both fear and purpose. Noah followed closely, studying the symbols still projected in the air. Mara brought up the rear, alert and ready. The Illuminati would not give up, but humanity had seen a glimpse of what it could be, and in the sky above the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging that humans were remembering. Humans were not small. Humans were not weak, and the small girl from the stars had shown them the way. The desert wind carried whispers of change. Cities would awaken. People would question everything. Lies would be exposed, and humanity would stand tall for the first time in centuries. Eli realized that their journey was far from over. The Illuminati would return, stronger, more determined. But now, humans had seen the truth. The world had a choice, and with Luma guiding them, they could choose courage over fear, hope over control, and freedom over lies. The sun rose, painting the desert gold. Shadows retreated, and the world, though still fragile, had begun to remember its strength. The small girl from the stars had done more than escape. She had awakened humanity, and the stars above seemed to watch, patient and proud, waiting for humans to rise fully into their place among them. The world was no longer quiet. Cities that had slept under lies for centuries now buzzed with questions, fear, and hope. Screens flashed images of lost civilizations, hidden wars, and proof that humanity had always been capable of more than it was told. Governments scrambled, leaders argued, and ordinary people paused to look at the sky in wonder. Eli, Luma, Noah, and Mara moved cautiously through a forest near the edge of a city. The Illuminati had retreated for now, but they would return. Eli's hand shook as he gripped a branch moving through the undergrowth. Every sound made him tense, every shadow seemed dangerous. They will not give up, Noah said. They will come with everything they have. They will try to erase what we have done. Luma walked calmly ahead, her small figure moving with confidence through the dark trees. They can try, she said, but the truth cannot be hidden. Humans have seen it, and now they remember. Eli looked at her. You've changed everything, but what happens next? How do we stop them completely?
You don't stop them, Luma said.
You let humans see. The rest will follow. The Illuminati has no real power over those who are awake. They only had power over those who believed in lies. Mara stepped forward. And the towers? The signals? Will they hold?
Yes, Luma said. The towers are awake.
They will continue to broadcast. They are connected to humans who still remember, to minds that refuse to forget. The Illuminati cannot destroy what humans now carry inside themselves.
The group moved to the top of a small hill overlooking a wide valley.
From here, Eli could see the city below, its streets lit by the early sun. People were coming out of their homes, watching the sky, talking, pointing at screens and devices. There was fear, yes, but also curiosity. And most importantly, hope. This is only the beginning, Luma said. The world will change. And humans must choose what kind of world they want to build. Noah glanced at her, his eyes wide. They will not surrender easily. They will fight back in ways we cannot imagine. They cannot control minds that see the truth, Luma said. That is the difference. The world belongs to those who remember, not to those who hide in darkness. Eli felt a strange warmth spread through him. He had feared the journey, feared the danger, feared the unknown. But now, seeing the city, seeing humans begin to awaken, he felt proud. Not of himself, but of them. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, and now they were remembering their strength. Suddenly the sound of engines reached their ears. The Illuminati had returned, faster, stronger, more determined. Black vehicles sped through the trees and along distant roads. Soldiers and agents moved with precision, and in the air, drones circled, scanning for the small girl from the stars. "They are here," Eli whispered. "What do we do?" Luma did not stop walking. "We do not fight them. We show them. The towers, the signals, the truth. They cannot erase it. They can try, but humans are awake now. That is enough." The first group of soldiers appeared at the edge of the valley. They raised their weapons, aiming at Luma. But the air shifted, energy spreading outward from her small figure. The ground vibrated faintly, and machines in the city below responded to her presence. Screens flickered, images of truth filling them. Humans watched. The soldiers tried to move forward, but they staggered. Weapons fell from their hands. Their vehicles stopped, as if frozen in the energy that now flowed across the land. Luma raised her hands, and the light expanded, soft but powerful, reaching farther than anyone could imagine. Eli felt the energy through his body, through the earth beneath him, through the air around him. He realized that humans had been stronger than anyone had believed. This small girl, who had arrived from the stars, had awakened something inside every human being: courage, creativity, and the memory of strength. Noah watched, awe on his face. This is impossible," he whispered. "They cannot stop her. They never could," Luma said softly. "They only hoped you would stay asleep. But now you are awake, and humans will not be stopped by lies." From the city below, people began to gather. They did not know why, but they felt drawn to the screens, to the lights, to the truth that now filled the air. Some cried, some laughed, some shouted, pointing at the images of their past, their hidden history, and the proof that they had never been weak. The Illuminati agents fell back. Their control over minds and machines failed. Their plans, built over centuries, crumbled in hours. They realized too late that humans were no longer asleep, that the world they had tried to hide from itself was now awake and aware. Luma turned to Eli and Noah. "This is the moment humans have been waiting for. They will see themselves clearly, and they will rise." Eli felt a lump in his throat. "But what about you? Will they come for you again?" Luma smiled faintly. "My time here is short. I am not their prisoner. I am proof. I am the reminder. Once humans remember, they no longer need me. My work is not to rule, but to awaken." Mara nodded. "Then we must protect her until she leaves. Once the world is ready, she will go." The sun rose higher, casting long shadows across the valley. The city below was alive with activity. Humans were talking, questioning, sharing the truth. The towers continued to broadcast. The signals pulsed with energy, and humanity began to organize itself. Eli watched as people looked up at the sky, pointing at the stars, as if they were seeing them for the first time. He felt hope, not just for himself, but for everyone. Humans were not small. They were not weak. They were alive, clever, and capable of anything.
Suddenly, Luma turned and looked at the horizon. A faint light appeared, shimmering, not from the sun. Eli felt his heart tighten. "Are you leaving?" he asked. "Yes," Luma said. "My journey here is complete. Humans have remembered enough. Now, they must decide what to do with themselves." "I cannot stay, but I leave them proof, guidance, and the knowledge that they are never alone in the universe." Noah swallowed hard. "Will we ever see you again?" "Perhaps," Luma said. "But even if not, I am part of them now, part of humanity. And that is enough." Ellie stepped forward. "Thank you for everything, for showing us who we really are." Luma smiled. "You only needed to remember. I only reminded you." With that, she stepped toward the shimmering light. Her small figure glowed, and then, in a moment that felt like eternity, she was gone. The air around them hummed softly, the energy of the towers pulsing like a heartbeat. Humans were awake. The Illuminati had lost their control. Eli, Noah, and Mara stood silently, watching the valley below. The city was alive, filled with people who were seeing the truth for the first time. Across the world, others were awakening as well, the towers broadcasting proof of human strength, creativity, and courage. Eli realized something powerful. This small girl from the stars had done more than escape. She had reminded humanity of what it had always been, strong, clever, and unbreakable. She had shown them that lies could be broken, and that the stars themselves were part of their heritage. She didn't just change the world. She gave humans their chance to rise. Mara nodded. And now it is up to them. Humans must choose. They must build, create, and live as they were always meant to. The Illuminati cannot stop them. Nothing can, if they remember themselves. Eli looked up at the sky. The stars shone brightly, more brilliant than he had ever seen. They seemed to be watching, patient and proud. He felt a strange peace. The fear, the danger, the long journey, all of it had led to this moment. Humanity had remembered itself, and the universe had noticed. The city below began to move with purpose. People shared knowledge, questioned old beliefs, and helped each other understand the truth. Humanity was no longer small. Humanity was awake. Eli turned to Noah and Mara. "The world will never be the same again." "No," Mara said softly, "but it will be better. Humans will rise, and the stars will watch them. They have the chance they always deserved."
Eli smiled, feeling the warmth of the sun on his face and the pulse of the towers beneath the earth. The small girl from the stars had left, but her presence remained everywhere, in humans, in the towers, and in the sky. And for the first time in centuries, humanity looked up at the stars not with fear, but with confidence. Humans were awake. Humans were strong. Humans were ready. The world had been given a choice, and it had chosen courage, hope, and truth. The small girl from the stars had reminded them of who they truly were. And with that reminder, the universe seemed a little brighter, and humanity seemed a little taller. The stars above shone proudly, and Earth, for the first time, was ready to rise among them.